Hey guys, maybe you're like me and you have actually dropped your Mi Max or your Redmi Note 4. It's kind of the same deal applies here because they have a very similar build to them. So you can see here on my unit, on the corner I have some damage there, and also on the bottom and along the other side on the bottom there because I've dropped it a couple of times. So this housing here is actually plastic, the bottom, and the back is made out of an alloy, and the top's plastic as well. So what we can do is actually just replace the whole rear of it, but that doesn't save the chipped paint around the edges. So this paint there, you can see it's actually just come off on those corners, and it's bad to look at that. We can't actually fix that really unless you get out some touch paint and try and paint that over. So build quality wise, the Xiaomi Redmi Max and the Mi Max here that I have isn't the best. So first things first, we need to remove the SIM tray with our micro SD card and SIMs inside, because that will inhibit removing the whole case from the thing. Now I found the best place to start to pry off the rear cover is just to go along the top or the bottom, because this being plastic is a lot more flexible than, for example, starting from the side. So you just go along around the outsides, pry that open along there. Just be careful not to try and damage the paintwork around on the frame of the screen. Now once you get the corners done on two sides, you can just use your actual fingernails and go along instead of the pry tool, and you'll be able to just pry that off and then pull up separate both of the housings there. And here we'll see the internals. So this is the tricky part now. We need to actually peel off the fingerprint reader and apply that to the new case which I have here. So they look identical inside. It even has the same rubber little mats there, the little pads, sorry, contact points. To me it looks like an original. Now to tackle the fingerprint reader is simply just use your fingernail on the top right hand corner. There's a bit of a gap there, and you can use that to get underneath and wedge that up. Be careful you don't damage the ribbon. And there we go, that comes off. Now don't worry about that sticker, that seal that's around there, because we actually have a new one of that on the new case you can see here. So peel that off. And there's actually another layer there, it looks like in the inside, that I'm going to have to remove that too. So that comes up and out. And then the new one goes back on there, face down. Line that up, press it down real hard, and you're done. Now just a tip here, make sure there's no dust around the lens of the camera, otherwise when you put it all back together, you'll end up taking photos and you'll see like a huge blurry bit in the photo, and that'll be a speck of dust in there, so you don't want that. So make sure you're in a dust-free environment. Now to clip it back together, we simply just push this back down, and be careful of the buttons there. So the buttons, it does come with buttons in my case here. I think most of them do, the replacements you get from AliExpress. So we pay to probably actually put that together with this part facing down so those buttons line up correctly. So you start with the bottom first. The bottom with the buttons first. So on that side first. Push that down in there, that should. There we go. Alright, just add this in, just a word of caution that these buttons are absolutely horrific to replace. What happens is, now they're working, they're clicking, they're fine, and the power. But as soon as I click the whole case together, my volume up button stops working, or the power button is continuously on. So bear that in mind, that don't just replace this unless it's really damaged, I would say, because these buttons are an absolute nightmare. I'm now on my about third go to try and get them to actually line up correctly. And I have tried them with the original buttons, so I replaced them and switched them over to see if that was part of the problem. But it turns out, no, there's exactly the same. It's just trying to get the little buttons and the rubber pads on the back to line up correctly. So best of luck with that. So while I'm here, if I want to have a look at just how durable it is, the back cover at least of the phone, how hard that is to scratch. It doesn't take much there. Let's have a look at the camera lens is in fact scratch resistant. The plastic lens over the flash, that is easy to scratch. Just like this top plastic here. Looks like that is relatively scratch resistant actually, the lens on there. Can't see, yeah, there's no scratches from just using my knife on it there. And now you see that looks a lot better. Tidied it up a little bit, but I still have, of course, where that paint chipped away. That's all clipped in now. And you can put your SIM card back in, and that is a lot better. So that is quite an easy replacement there, replacing the back battery cover. Now there's a link in the description if you're interested in getting one of these replacement cases. It only cost me about $10, so well worth it if you want to tidy it up a little bit if you have dropped your Mi Max. And this will even work for the Redmi Note 4, Redmi Note 3 Pro as well. It's a very similar build to them. Thanks for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you back in the channel.